My name is Jay Chauhan. I am a lawyer in Richmond Hill, and I am a mentor in the Angel Mentorship Group, which is an open Facebook group where anybody is welcome, including lawyers, paralegals, students, and even the public, because some of the issues that we deal with as lawyers, I found is very useful for the public to even get to understand the legal system. So I kept the group totally open. You're welcome to join, ask to join, and make your comments on any lecture that you hear. These videos will be short videos of about 5 to 10 minutes each. So I will introduce the topics based on my experience in the practice on almost frequent basis, at least one video, 2-3 videos a week. And those videos which are of topics of general interest, we will do CPD programs out of it. I did 3 CPD programs last week. I did one this year for the Ontario Paralegal Association, and we'll be doing about 5 or 6 this year. And if there are topics that interest you, please let us know, or let me know on the Facebook. The Facebook administrators are 3 or 4 people, and they will let me know which topics interest you. But today's topic is on the question of the bylaws enforcement. And most of the lectures that you will see on the bylaw enforcement are the physical content of what the bylaw is. And when you're a lawyer or a paralegal dealing with this issue, my view is that you take a broader perspective of how to resolve the issue as a lawyer or paralegal. And then the bylaws may be different on each town. So you're never going to be able to memorize each bylaw. The way to deal with it, in my view, is that when you get a problem from a client, you look at the breaches that you can possibly identify. To give you the theory behind the bylaws is the Municipal Act of Ontario, which has the enabling legislation that enables the municipality through the council to create the bylaws. And the bylaws are created, they can be enforced through the rights that the municipality has to create the bylaws, and the breach of bylaw can be enforced the court system. So the understanding of the Municipal Act and the enabling legislation is also very important. I did one case where the municipality had a bylaw, and if you're this is more like in the domain of the lawyer, that if you come to a conclusion that the bylaw does not follow the Municipal Act, then you have a right to challenge that as well. So if you're dealing with the town and the municipality, as a lawyer, you should not hesitate to tell the town that you see that the bylaws are not in conformity with the guidelines set out in the legislation, and there is limitation on what the municipality can do. In one case, I was able to tell the municipality and the bylaw, the person, lawyer, agreed, and they in fact changed the bylaw. So for a lawyer, I would strongly recommend that you do not take another view that the bylaw is given and is in conformity absolutely automatically. But the municipalities have their own lawyers who work full-time, and they usually are very much on the right track. But if you're a thinking lawyer, don't hesitate to question the bylaw. So in terms of the enforcement of the bylaw, the typical problem that you'll encounter in your practice as a lawyer or paralegal is that the client will come to you and say that I can't get along with my neighbor, the trees have overgrown, the fence is not in the right place, and the neighbor doesn't get along in essence with your client. So what would you do? So first of all, if you do not use the legal system correctly, then here's what can happen. The bylaw officer comes, he looks at the property, takes some pictures, goes back to his office, looks at the bylaw, and it's my experience that in the local municipalities, if people know each other and the latitude and the judgment made by the bylaw officer may not be as strictly observed like the legal system in the courtroom. So who do you know, and what the bylaw officer says and how he leans one way or the other can make the biggest difference in how you solve your legal problem. So what I suggest is that in solving this problem, as a lawyer or paralegal, you study that bylaw specifically. Then, if you call the bylaw enforcement officer, then you take the liberty of pointing out to them, if you can. Some bylaw officers not even bother to talk to you. Come like a big kind of authority figure from the municipality and say that we'll make our observations and deal with it, So my view to the lawyer and paralegal is that you check the bylaw and see that if the bylaw officer does not make the observations pursuant to what you think should be done, then you should feel free to tell the bylaw officer or the town. Very often, there is a slight political angle that you can also use. The councillors are elected members of the council. And if you happen to know a councillor, then you can even suggest to the councillor that you are concerned about that bylaw and that these are the breaches according to you that may be relevant for the bylaw officer to repair. So once it does the report, you can then have it enforced, and if the neighbor does not objectively carry out the duty, then you can take it to court and breach a bylaw. Many of the bylaws have underlying common law principles such as nuisance, etc. Some of the problems can be solved by the Line Fences Act. In my experience, many people do not know that the Line Fences Act exists for each municipality to appoint a fence viewer who can solve the dispute between the two neighbors. So I hope that was helpful, and please let me have your comments. Join the group and make your comments below. Thank you.